But I think, would you say, Mrs. Sun, that, how can I describe it? That Kodak was guilty of over specialization?
No, I don't. I think they may be under specialized. Kodak was involved, and I think you alluded to it. Kodak was involved in so many marketplaces and so many businesses: professional printing, consumer printing, health imaging. We were in inkjet, electrophotographic printing, and office copying. We were involved in everything. Not to mention when we were involved with Eastman Chemical, and we were doing industrial chemicals as well. There wasn't a business that we weren't involved with. We were involved with everything. And so we were trying a lot of different things, but unfortunately, everything seemed to be compared to our fundamental business model. I used to, I'm a digital guy. I was doing digital imaging since 1975. And I worked exclusively in the company about that. Couldn't talk about it outside the company, but that's what I worked on. And quite frankly, I had to always thank the Silver Halide people for supporting me, because I never made much money for the company during most of this time.
Yeah.
Because the money really came from the Silver Halide arm.
The studios and everything, yeah.
So it's always a difficult, you can have a business model, come up with it, but they will compare it to what they know. And what they know was pretty damn good.
Yeah, without a doubt. But I think, when
you know what my problem is with that simplistic take on the Kodak case? That is such a millennial point of view. And I hate millennial point of view. Sorry, I'm biased with that. And when I see all these case studies, so you millennials, if you ever watch this in YouTube in 100 years when we are all dead, and because you already are growing a white hair in any part of your body, and now you're wise enough to challenge your own ideas. Kodak wasn't a company that simply ignored the market. The story is much more complicated than that. Okay, that is what ticks me about this subject. The literature available is just too simplistic. It's a much complicated idea that just no, we don't care about technology. Actually, I came across this has been quite a journey.
Yeah.
Because. So for my masters, I was one of our co-students. He wrote. I thought it was a co-student. It was actually my tutor from university. It was my professor, but I didn't know it was my professor, and I roasted him because he wrote such a simplistic. Article about Kodak as an example of a company that ignored technology and the customer needs. I'm sorry, but it's 1990. Nobody, literally nobody, woke up one morning and thought, yeah, I need a phone that has the size of my hand and can take pictures. Nobody thought about that.
Star Trek did.
Star Trek did.
The Star Trek did, and Kodak was part of it.
No, but you talk about Star Trek and outer space. The first digital camera that went into outer space in a space shuttle was a Kodak camera.
There you go. See,
it was in 1991, I believe. And so, we didn't really talk much about it, but we were doing all of this work. To fundamentally define it. So not just intellectual property work, but we were doing actual product fabrication and putting ideas in place. And so that was taking place. So to say that Kodak ignored the technology, I think is clearly wrong.
Absolutely wrong.
Take a look at the intellectual property trail.
There's so many articles saying that.
Take a look at the
so
products
many.
that we made.
But it's fundamentally wrong.
The fundamental technology, the definition of how a camera goes together, how the memory, it goes, you capture an image and it goes into a memory, and then you image compression on it and put it to a memory card. That was patented by Kodak. That the color filter array, the thing that allows the monochromatics electronic sensor that's in your cameras, right today, that's in your pocket right now, has a color filter array on it that was designed and suggested by Bryce Beyer. It's called the Beyer array. All cameras have it, or an adaptation of it. And so that was developed in Kodak in 1975, 76 as well.
There you go.
So a lot of these things are sort of, below the surface, and a lot of business schools, when they look at this, they don't see that. But it was a well-established heritage of technology that Kodak had developed for digital photography. And there's ample evidence of that in the record if you look for it.
Yeah. If you want some more of this, subscribe. If you like it, press like. But we prefer if you subscribe. All right. And plus, on top of that, if you don't want him in the country anymore, definitely subscribe.
Yeah.